So I'm Steve Wally with Iron Range Adventures podcast. Today I have the pleasure of meeting two amazing people, Denise and Jeff. I was gonna kind of go before I was gonna start. I was gonna say what you guys do. But I'll let you guys say what keeps you busy and what's give your own introduction.
Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Currently, I am building a coffee truck. North Haven Coffee will be on the Iron Range. Prior to that, I did mental health. I worked in mental health for 27 plus years.
Myself, I've been in IT for close to 30 years. Currently, I work for the Park State Bank. I also run my own IT company, Mecca Computer Consulting, and take care of a few nonprofits.
Okay. And then you've built a life together on the Iron Range for a decade. What does home mean to you now compared to when you first started?
I grew up in a really dysfunctional family, so home is stability to me. But I will say that the Iron Range is always home. Like, I've traveled, and when you come back home, you just get that feeling of serenity and calm.
To me, it's roots. And again, I traveled all over the world for doing IT, and there's nothing quite like coming back home, seeing the trees again, and the lakes. It just feels right here.
And family.
Right. And where I didn't have any questions, but where was it before? Like where would you guys live elsewhere?
So the home that we live in now, I actually moved in there with my parents when I was 14. And then my parents moved out. Jeff and I moved in. We were pregnant with Cheyenne.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I've lived there for many years.
Okay.
But Iron Range, I've lived White Lakes. We lived in Eveleth when I was little. And then we've lived in Cherry for many years.
Okay. Was there anywhere that was... So obviously home is home now, was there any like a second best that you're like, hey, if I couldn't live here, I'd probably live?
I think the city of White Lakes is the cutest little city. I lived there when I was like in first, second, and third grade. I still have family there. I still love going back to see the lakes. I love the water carnival. It's just a beautiful little community.
Sure. What about you, Jeff?
I grew up in Hibbing.
Okay.
And pretty much didn't stray too far. I was in the military for a little while, in the Army Guard and then the Air National Guard. But pretty much Hibbing, Mountain Iron here now. Other than that, pretty local.
Sure. And then when you look at each other, what do you see that the world might miss?
We've been through some tough times. We had a lot of loss in one year in particular. 2009, we lost his dad in April. We lost my uncle in July, and then we lost our daughter in November of that year. So we've been through a lot of loss in the sense that, family is so central for us. And so I think the resiliency of our relationship through all of that.
And then how did losing Whitney shape your marriage? And what advice would you give couples walking through unimaginable loss?
That's a tough one.
It is. I think that's a tough question because everybody's loss is different. We all grieve differently. So I don't know that I can offer a ton of advice in terms of grief and loss for couples, other than don't try to outrun it. You can't outrun grief.
Yeah. And let your partner grieve in the way they need to, because we are different.
For as long as they need to.
As long as they need to, correct.
And did you guys go to like a counselor at all, or did you kind of handle it on your own? Or like
I did.
What did that look like?
I went to a therapist for a few sessions. And it really helped. My background is mental health, and so I knew right away that I needed something just to help process through some of it. I'm a really organized person, but for some reason during that loss, I was having a really difficult time organizing my thoughts and feelings.
Okay.
And so just going to see a therapist really helped with that and helped me get some grounding under my feet so that I was able to really face the grieving. Therapy was not trying to get rid of the grief. It was just really, for me, trying to organize my thoughts and feelings and keep walking through it instead of trying to outrun it.
Right. Do you feel like some of those situations, some people they can be a little stubborn or just kind of embarrassed or
Yes.
of that, where they're,
Yeah,
you know,
especially up here on the Iron Range.
like they probably should go see somebody, and they're just like, how, I guess your advice to like somebody that, is dealing with it, like, what do you recommend for them to just kind of fight through that and just get up and go, or how, I mean,
Just therapy?
yeah, just,
I think everybody should have therapy.
Sure.
And not because we're sick. Like, first of all, just give it a try. If you're ever questioning it, give it a try. And I don't think that one therapist is the right fit for every person, so I think that it's okay. And I think that if you go into it thinking, I'm going to see if this is a good fit. As you know, recently I was in a car accident.
Right.
Within the first couple of weeks, I sought out a therapist, and I did go for several months. And I said to my concussion therapist, Dr. Danny, I said, I think it's really important that anybody that is in kind of, a horrific accident seeks out therapy. If nothing else, just to touch base with that person and get that outside perspective that says, I think you're doing okay, you don't need this anymore. Because sometimes we don't recognize how unwell we are. And we live up in the cold in Minnesota where we don't get enough sunlight as it is.
Yeah.
And that affects us.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I guess, what does resilience look like in a small Iron Range town?
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
Don't dwell on things. Allow the change to happen and just embrace it.
Sure. I guess for both of you, like, obviously you're choosing each other when it comes to those hard times, but is there somebody else besides like a counselor that you guys kind of reached out to, be like, hey, like, here's what we're going through, like, what would you recommend? Or is there anything that kind of outside, like a family member or something that?
Well, our daughter, so when we lost our oldest daughter, our youngest daughter was still present, of course. So as a family, we just sort of circled. I always call it circling the wagons. Or I often refer to us as the clumps because we just automatically clump together wherever we all are. But we really relied on family and friends when we were going through that. And, it wasn't always pretty. Sometimes it was just letting us cry and listening to us and offering Kleenex. And sometimes it was just saying, hey, I've got this, let me do this for you. And that was really helpful because asking for help was difficult.
Right. And then if Whitney were sitting here today, what do you think she'd be most proud
of? Sorry. I think that she would be proud of us for just keeping going. Because it's not easy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, what does it mean? What does it mean to be Iron Range tough? And I think that's with that.
Yeah.
You guys are.
I think it's recognizing when things aren't perfect, but adapting and moving forward anyway.
Good answer. That's very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Jeff, growing up with a father who worked for U.S. Steel and co-owned the Hibbing roller rink, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
What did that era of the range teach you about grit?
Well, my father worked for U.S. Steel retired there with 42 years, and he missed only 5 days in that 42 years. Yeah. One time he overslept. A couple days for him when he got married.
Sure.
And I think he called in one day just because he didn't want to go. It was something else too, but
sure.
It just shows how determined and stable their lives were.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then Denise, as someone who spent 25 plus years in mental health in the range, what silent battles do you see people carrying?
I think access, number one, in our community, and we have so many rural communities, and so when people want help, they don't know who to ask. They also don't know how to ask it because they don't know who to call.
Sure.
And again, I think that because we live in such a rural, small community, sometimes transportation is the biggest barrier to getting help. And some people will ask for it. I see a lot of stuff on Facebook these days, hey, how do I get this? How do I get that? Can you help me with this? Can somebody drop it off? And much of the time I see some really good positive things, but I think also some people get a little bit of negative feedback and then they just clam up and they don't ask for help again. So I think accessibility is
Right.
the number one answer.
And do you think like stubbornness is just kind of,
Yeah.
hey, if I can't get there, then how am I supposed to get there? You know,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So what? So I mean, any listening audience that are watching now, like, you know, say, hey, like it's time to get some help, like time to fight through these battles. And they say they live 20 miles away from the nearest place. They don't have a vehicle. What would you say? Take a taxi.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult,
Yeah.
that's a great question, and that the answer is never easy. You know, sometimes you just got to ask a neighbor, and sometimes I think you just have to be really honest and say, I need to get to my therapy appointment next week. And I think you need to do it ahead of time, not last minute. I know
Right.
it's a very scary conversation to have, but if you're able to just reach out and say, I need to get there next week, maybe the neighbor can adapt their schedule and take you with while they go get their
and I
groceries
think-
or whatever.
I think most people, if you ask, they'll do it. You know, and that's,
Sometimes,
you're right. You'd hope.
yeah, you'd hope. Sometimes the bus is, you know, your only option, and I know that that's a scary thing to navigate too.
Right.
You know, I've never ridden the bus, and I think that that can be a very scary thing to navigate. But I think that there are people that will help you do that. I know there will.
Right.
I know there will.
And then why stay here? Why build a business here instead of somewhere bigger?
Family. I think that's yeah. Our daughter lives here. She works here. She has a life here. She's involved in her community, so we want to be as close as we can and stay near her.
The small world is
Yes.
Cheyenne. I didn't even know that was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Denise and Cheyenne. That was her daughter.
Yeah.
And I have been going to her yoga class at Steel Fitness. Well, we figured that out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Small world. I didn't even put two and two together. I don't know how we did put that together. Sorry to be off topic there, audience, but hey, if you need a yoga class, she has a wonderful yoga class Thursday mornings.
She does.
And then what do people outside the Iron Range misunderstand about this place?
I think everybody thinks it's cold and we drink a lot.
And they wouldn't be wrong completely.
I mean,
it is cold.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but there's so many beautiful things to do here. You know, snowmobiling and skating and sledding and skiing. And just hiking. Like, it's just beautiful here.
Right. So what? I don't know if I'm going to trouble for this, but what? So what? Where does the nothing stranger than an Iron Ranger? Since you're both Iron Rangers, where did that come from?
That's a really good question. To
Is
be
that-
honest, no one's ever asked me that because I don't know.
Is that
I've never heard that.
You never heard
actually.
it?
I've never. No.
Maybe it's a different generation, Steve.
okay? Hey, if somebody's watching this and others can figure out where that came from,
That's a good question.
throw it in
though.
there. And when your coffee trailer Bessie pulls into an event, what kind of conversations happen at that window?
I hope we're going to have all kinds of conversations. Coffee for me isn't just a delicious beverage, but it is. It's the best beverage. For me, when we started talking about getting this truck together, it was still about community for me. I wanted to be able to give back and I wanted to be able to connect. So I hope that the conversations that happen at the coffee window are, you know, hey, how have you been? But, you know, also, where have you been?
Right.
But also, how did that job interview go? You were here last week picking up your coffee. Did you get the job? Hey, you said you were expecting. How's the little one? Like, I wanna be connected in that same way that I was when I was providing services within our community for mental health.
Right.
I still want that connection with people, and I want them to know that I still care.
Sure. And then you both have stable careers. Why take the leap into owning a business?
For me, I worked in mental health for 27 years, and then last year in February I was in a car accident, and it changed everything. It changed everything for the both of us. You know, I had a concussion, a fractured C7. I broke my right foot in 5 places. I had a partially collapsed lung. It's been a long road back, and now I still have some memory issues, and some vision that is
Convergence.
But I think we're really on the other end of the convergence vision issue. So I'm really lucky in that aspect. I have another neurologist appointment next month, but I mean, overall, I'm really thankful, to just be here because it was a very traumatic and horrific thing. So for me, just making some changes were almost a necessity.
Sure.
I think of it as an adventure too.
Yeah,
Something,
that's true.
a new chapter in our lives that we can just try something different.
Right. And you guys are definitely resilient, strong Iron Rangers. So
Thank you.
and then what scares you more, staying comfortable or taking risks?
We're going to differ on this one.
Yeah. You go ahead. You answer first.
Taking risks for me is less comfortable.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to just have the status quo, but
Yeah.
I realize you don't grow at all if you don't take risks also. So
100%.
Yeah, I'm not impulsive. I'm not spontaneous, and we always joke in my family that I'm the planner, so I'll probably plan my own funeral. But I take calculated risks, and I'm not a competitive person, so I mean I don't always have to win, but I want to be good at something, or I don't want to do it at all. When I teach mental health stuff, one of the things that I always talk about is, change is uncomfortable, and
Right.
until you get to a point where you've had enough with being where you are, and you'll move forward with that change, it will be worth it.
Right.
It will be a little uncomfortable. It might be a lot uncomfortable, but it'll be worth it.
Weather the storm.
Yeah.
What was it? Learn to dance in the rain. I saw that once. And then what moment made you realize North Haven coffee was more than just coffee?
I think, honestly, from the beginning, the minute we said, hey, do you think this is really viable? I said, I don't want just a coffee truck or a coffee trailer. I want it to be a place when people see it posted that they go, oh yeah, let's go there and get a coffee. I know so-and-so is going to get a coffee. I know we can chit-chat with Denise and Jeff. I want it to just be, a place to meet up, a little bit of a hub. It just so happens it'll be mobile.
Right. That's awesome. And I told a couple people before I had this podcast, I was like, yeah, I'm having a podcast with a couple that has a coffee truck, and they're like, that's awesome. That's what I want to do.
Thank you. We've gotten a lot.
So you're inspired a lot of people out there to.
Yeah.
there's been a lot of support.
Yeah, the feedback has been really good. Everybody's really excited. I was a little delusional in the beginning, thinking I was already going to be on the road with it. But again, I'm pretty practical and I like to be organized, so
Yeah.
I kind of reined it in. And we're doing things step by step and doing it right.
And it's hard when you first start a business because you're just so excited and you're so like, hey, let's go. But then you realize like, hey, pump the brakes, step back, make sure it's all done right.
Exactly.
You don't.
And I was so sedentary, for nearly a year with this accident and the healing that I was doubly excited to get going and doing something to be, just feel like I'm participating and contributing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jeff, how does your tech brain balance with Denise's visionary hippie heart energy?
I think it balances pretty well.
Yeah.
I look at the stuff in the coffee business, and I'm looking at the equipment and how does this work and the science of it.
Right.
Whereas for her, it's a lot more than just that. It is a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about feelings.
Yeah. It's about creating something that's delicious in a cup, but also creating something that is part of our community for our community.
And something that you can share.
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly it.
And that's kind of the relationship Steve and I have as well. Same. This is pretty much the exact same.
Yeah.
I love it.
Steve behind the camera, thanks for doing everything you do. Wouldn't be possible without him. And then what advice would you give Iron Range couples that are thinking about starting something together?
Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It'll be hard. There'll be tears. There's always a box of Kleenex, but just do it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to understand that there are going to be downs.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Not all
It's
rainbows.
not always fun.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
And so when I started a couple of my businesses too, I had to reach out to my aunt and uncle. And I thought everything was all good. But they say, hey, in the early stages, it's a lot of like sleepless nights or like going to bed, just your mind wandering and
Yeah.
trying to figure out how the heck am I going to keep this going?
Yeah.
You know?
So many lists, so many
Lots
to-dos.
of lists.
Yeah. And then you realize it's just you or just the two of you.
Right.
It's a lot, but it's fun. It's
Right.
rewarding too in its own way.
And then how do you hold joy? How do you hold joy and sorrow at the same time?
Very carefully.
What choice do you have,
Yeah.
actually?
That's true. That is very
100%.
true.
You know, it's a new, like we talked about, it's just a new normal.
Hmm.
You have to embrace the things that the joyful parts of life too. Sometimes it's difficult though, because it's never the same.
And I think you have to acknowledge the loss. I
Yeah.
think that some people, I know some people around us don't talk about Whitney because I think they feel like it's going to make us uncomfortable or sad. But sometimes the saddest thing is not hearing her name
Right.
for so long. And she's been gone almost 17 years.
Sure.
And she was special needs, so we took care of her at home 24/7.
3 years.
Did I say that? Did I say it wrong?
No, you said
Oh,
21.
okay. Yeah, so we took care of her. And so it wasn't just losing your child. It was losing all of the things that we did to take care of her. So we literally had no idea what to do next.
Right.
The day that she died, we both sat down at the table to have dinner, and there was no kiddo to feed. It was really,
Right.
it was hard. And so we were honest about the sorrow. And then sometimes the weird things like the guilt about like, oh, I had a smile today. I had a moment of happiness. Like you had to figure out how to work through that and know that those are okay.
Right.
Like that's normal and it's all part of normal grieving.
Right. Do you think maybe it's maybe like, I think a lot of people avoid being uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's not
Yeah.
they want to make you uncomfortable.
Yep.
Maybe it's just they're more like, hey, like today I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah.
And today I don't want to mention something that's going to make me.
Definitely.
But that's like kind of what you said, Jeff. Is that that's where your growth comes from,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? You know, quitting a job that you've been at for 40 years, but that 40 years you've been miserable to take a leap of something that's going to make you happy.
Right. For
You
sure.
know, and that's an uncomfortable feeling.
It
But
is.
it's, hey, if it's going to make you happy and make you wake up every day with a smile, then I feel like that's the direction you got to go.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know,
You can only live your life forward.
That's
correct.
true.
And those mind jobs. I just went to a Discovery Center, and they had they had that movie,
Oh, yeah.
the movie at the end. Shout out to Discovery Center. But some of those jobs were doing those mine
brutal.
pits, and you're not seeing the sunlight until you're done with work, and then you're packing your lunch into the mine pit, and you're working 6 days a week.
They were
And then
brutal
long
back in the
hours.
day.
if anybody on this watching this podcast, like go, especially if you're living on the Iron Range, go to the Discovery Center and watch that, and
Yeah.
like all of that, people had hard lives, and that their land was, or their house was on the mine's land.
Yeah, they
So if you
moved
miss
towns.
if you miss too much work, then they would,
Yeah,
you lose your house and you lose your job.
scary.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like, I don't know. So I think like your old man missing 5 days of work. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is. It really is.
And then who carried? Okay, we'll make sure I get back into all the questions for you. What does healing actually look like? Not the Instagram version, but the real life version.
I think that healing, for me, for us, especially with Whitney, is never ending. I don't know that we'll ever be done healing, but I think it looks like crying in the shower when you think no one else can hear you. I think it's tearing up when somebody says her name. I think it's talking about her even when it's uncomfortable.
It's the struggle.
But I think it's also celebrating her birthday every year,
Yeah.
and celebrating the date of her passing. A few years we, as a family, got together and we would do like random acts of kindness in her name. We put together some packages and we dropped them off at a hotel lobby so that kids would find it and they would have coloring books and crayons and markers. We paid for some coffees. We've put quarters in the laundromats. Just, Whitney she was the most joyful person you've ever met.
She was.
And we wanted to give other people a little bit of joy on those days.
Sure.
And it was nice to have people around us that were remembering her with us.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
And then who carried you when you couldn't carry yourself?
I think we take turns carrying each other.
Each other.
Cheyenne, of course, has been an integral part of all of that. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
we've carried her too, and sometimes she carries the both of us.
Yeah.
And then what do you want couples who are silently struggling to hear from you today?
Don't stay silent. Talk about it.
And don't give up.
Yeah, communication and don't give up.
Things will get better.
I can elaborate on that a little more. So say you were struggling now, like what direction would you go?
We've done couples counseling before. You know, people think that communication is just talking, and it isn't. It's so much more important than that. And it's not just listening. It's not just listening to what that person says so that it's your turn to respond. Yeah, it's a two-way street, but it isn't a, now it's your turn, now it's my turn. It's more than that. It's taking in the substance and then coming up with a heartfelt reply.
Right.
And we all, myself included, I'm guilty of not taking that breath before I speak, get myself into a little hot water.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's true. Like if you let stuff build up, it like eats you alive.
It
with this,
does.
You know,
Mhm.
it just. And we all go through hard times.
And I think sometimes we think we know what the other person meant, and we didn't. And so
Yeah.
asking those clarifying questions is
100%.
so important.
Well, and today in social media,
Yes.
it's like it's so easy to read words out of context. If you don't know
Yes.
how how
Yeah.
it comes across. Like
Yeah.
I could text Steve something, and he's like, "Are you
What?
having a bad day or something?" And I call him like, "No, I'm just like trying to get the point across, but it sounds
Yeah.
like I'm a crabby
And we're
POS."
always in a hurry.
And some days I am a
Everybody's-
crabby POS, so sometimes, sometimes that's how it works. But it seems like calm down.
And I believe actively listening and letting them finish their thoughts
Yes.
is important.
Mhm.
In the early stages of everything, like how was that? Because it seems like you guys are
It was not
like you have it
good.
figured out.
No, we didn't have it figured out. When, so we lost his dad April of '09, and we were still kind of reeling from that, trying to figure that all out. Literally, he was cleaning up his dad's house in Brooklyn and Hibbing. Him and his sister were trying to work together, and it was a lot. You saw the inside of our pole barn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his house was similar. His dad was a collector, and I think, we call it a hoarder, but his dad he's an old Finlander, and you did not throw things away. You fixed it.
That went through the Depression.
Yeah,
and
sure.
the
Yeah.
people that did that,
Yeah,
they behaved differently.
right. And then we lost my uncle, who I was very close to, so that was really a difficult thing to navigate. And then we lost Whitney, and we certainly did not have it together. We didn't look like that we had it together, and we went through the days like a robot. I often tell people the very first year, I literally was a robot. If it wasn't on auto pay, it didn't get paid, and I just didn't care. And I don't want to call it depression. It was grief.
Right.
Losing your child is something that we don't even have a word for in our language.
Right.
We just don't.
Right.
And so it was really hard to navigate, all the while still working full time, all the while still having another kiddo who I have to be present and somewhat balanced and stable for.
Right.
So it was, we don't always have it together. And there were times that I just fake it till you can make it, because that's what you have to do just for your own sanity.
Absolutely.
And then there are other times that I just fell apart and just said, yeah, I'm no good to anybody today, but I'm here anyway. And some people just said, that's okay, I got you.
Absolutely.
And that, well, I often say, we're grandparents by proxy. So our daughter Cheyenne and her wife don't want children. They love children. They just chose not to have any, which is totally cool with us. We're fully supportive of that. But one of her best friends in elementary, when she got pregnant, said, "Hey, I know you guys want to be grandparents, and we would love, whatever capacity you want to be in our child's life." And I said, "Oh, we're all in."
Oh, that's awesome.
All in.
That's awesome.
And now we have 2. So
Okay.
and it's fun. And I always tell Jeff, we get to spoil them. You have all of the fun and not a lot of the responsibility. No college and dental.
Yeah.
If your grandparents watch this episode in 20 years, what do you want them to know?
I want them to know that, well, we love them. We are so excited to have grandkids. I want them to know that they come from a strong family too. Like
Absolutely.
we're not pushovers for certain.
And then what's the most important value you fought to protect in your home?
Respect
Yeah.
for each other.
Yeah. Boundaries. Healthy boundaries.
Smart.
Yeah.
And then if you could relive your ordinary day from a younger year, what would it be?
For me, I think would be a 4th of July at our cabin with all the relatives and making homemade ice cream. Using ice my dad put up during the winter from the lake.
That's awesome.
His
Yeah.
dad would go out on the lake, cut chunks of ice, and save it. And
Put
then,
'em in
yeah,
the-
it was really,
An ice house.
it's
Yeah.
really something.
For you?
I don't want to live anything in my childhood.
No?
No, it was not great.
Yeah.
Not great at all.
A little bit?
No.
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 Okay,
Nothing.
we'll go to, so we have someone new because this is the first time Steve and I had 2 guests on one.
Yeah.
So I had to, and you guys watched the podcast before, right?
Yeah.
So we have rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
But the only thing with this one is you both have to answer at the same time.
Okay. Fair.
No cheating.
Right.
Okay.
Got it.
Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Who said I love you first?
I did.
She did.
Who is more stubborn?
She is.
That's probably true. I was going to try and talk my way out of that one, but yeah, that's true.
Who spends more money?
He does. He has more expensive toys.
More expensive taste, yes.
Who is more likely to start another business?
Ooh, probably me.
Denise, definitely.
Who cries at movies?
We both do.
We both do, yes.
Who makes better coffee?
Right now, probably Jeff. Honestly, it kind of kills me to say that, but he is very technical with the grind and the drip and the process. We just got a new scale. It arrived, I think, Monday or Tuesday, and it literally sits on the espresso bar, like right underneath the pour, and it measures everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's this digital wonder, and I'm like,
Time and weight, time.
yeah. See, I don't even. He knows what it does. I barely know. I'm like, how do I plug this thing in and charge it? Like that's as basic as I know. Technology scares me. I don't even like it.
And you're both the toughest people I've met on the range.
Thank you.
But who is more Iron Range tough?
Oh, probably me. Yeah.
Definitely her.
Yeah,
And who apologizes first?
I would.
Jeff.
Always.
I'm a little
Way to go,
stubborn. I'm a little stubborn.
Just smart.
I'm a little stubborn.
Who takes longer to get ready?
Jeff.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
do.
Nice. Who would survive longer alone in the woods?
Jeff.
I would.
I can't go anywhere without my coffee.
And then who is a better driver in the winter?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't driven since my accident, really. I mean, yeah. So
I would say I am.
I
right now.
would have to
Okay.
go with that for now. I'm making a comeback.
And then who handles stress better?
I do. Yeah,
Yeah, I believe so.
Who keeps the house warmer in January?
definitely me.
Denise.
And then who said, let's buy a farm?
We inherited it, so technically neither of us. And I don't think that. I don't want to say that we inherited. That's not exactly true. we moved there. We thought it was going to be temporary. Jeff was going to go back to school, and we were going to move to Florida. Then Cheyenne came along, so we decided to stay. Then we decided to stay longer. And, you know, the rest is history. We're still there,
Yeah.
you know, all these years. And, you know, we're looking at retiring in a few years and what that might look like. But I think for both of us, but me especially, now I have to have a place to anchor us, and that's our place.
Right. And then who talk? I almost want to try to guess this, but who talks to strangers more at events?
That would be Denise.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's it for the rapid fire question. Nice work.
Thanks.
And then we have, what is one thing you forget? So this is good. I think everybody will like these questions. What is one thing that you forgave each other for that made your marriage stronger?
What is one thing we forgave each other that's made our marriage stronger? I think that, you know, when you first begin dating somebody and you talk about all the what ifs and where do you want to go and all of those things, you're being honest in those moments, but then you grow. You grow as a person, you grow as a family,
Right.
and all of those circumstances change you. And so, not that I was harboring any resentment, but I think I forgave him for not being the person he said he was going to be when he was 26.
Right.
Because you have to let that go, otherwise you're just living in the past. Maybe that's too simple, but I'm kind of a simple girl.
Sure.
Simply complicated.
She's not simple.
Steve's over there nodding his head. He's known me for like 5 minutes.
Simple.
5 minutes, Steve. You've known me for 5 minutes.
I've been married for 10 years.
Huh? He's a wise man.
And then what does in sickness and in health really mean now?
Forever.
Yeah.
To our last breaths.
Yeah. Jeff has taken care of me through a brain surgery, which, I mean, there were months leading up to that, and then he took care of me after the accident. Cheyenne, too. She came over and helped, and our daughter-in-law, Bridget, we call him our son-in-law, Pat. Yeah.
And then if you could sit across from a younger Iron Ranger couple just starting out, what would you tell them?
Plan better. Plan better. I think that I think we always talk about our dreams, but we don't talk about our plans.
Be patient with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, and don't give up. People give up really easy too soon
What do you think that is?
because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easier to walk away than it is to fight through it or work through it.
Do you think the grandparents had it? Was it easier, or do you think it was the same?
I think they had it harder.
I think so too.
His
But
grandparents have a really interesting marriage and love story.
That's right. My grandfather on my dad's side, he came over from Finland, and he sent for his sweetheart, while she sent her best friend.
She was too scared.
Come on.
She was too scared to come, so she sent her best friend.
And they were married, and they weren't separated for over 60 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was not easy.
It was more of a partnership. It was
Yeah.
a different time.
Yeah.
So I think they definitely had it more difficult.
It almost sounds like a transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very much
but,
so.
but
Yeah.
they did love each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they were.
family was really important. They did love each other.
And for the younger audience, when you sent for somebody, what does that actually mean?
Letters.
Letter.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
writing letters. Yeah, his sweetheart had agreed to come, and then when he said, "Okay, I've got things set up.
Sure.
I'm ready for you to come. Here's the money for passage." Or I think, did she come by boat? I guess I don't
Boat.
know.
It
Yeah,
was
she
boat.
did. She came by boat. So he sent the money for passage, and she said, "I'm too scared," and she gave it to her best friend, and her best friend said, "I'm getting on the boat."
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine that boat ride.
And I can't imagine that boat ride. I can't imagine arriving, and I can't imagine his grandpa going, "You're not my girl, but
Yeah.
okay, let's do this."
What would they would have done? You got a boat back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. That's
Well, I
terrifying.
remember I used to go to Salombi, which is a Finnish camp, and they used to
Okay.
say that that the Finns came over on a boat, but then they would pile the boats with a bunch of oranges, So then the Finns would eat the oranges, so when they arrived to the U.S., they wouldn't be sick.
Oh,
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Very.
And then, last question. On the Iron Range, love means blank.
oh, on the Iron Range, love means
Consistency.
resiliency, but love means family. I mean,
Sure.
yeah,
I think it can mean many things.
for sure.
And then, if you could, and I want to thank you both for being on
Thank
the
you.
podcast. It's been
Sure.
wonderful. Look into the camera and speak to anyone on the Iron Range who feels tired, overwhelmed, grieving, or stuck. What do you want them to hear from you?
I always tell people that self-care is important. And, oh, wrong camera. Thanks, Steve. Silent Steve, thank you. I always tell people that self-care is important. It's the most important thing, and it doesn't have to be earned. It's just automatic. You don't have to stay up late to get something done and then not take a nap. So naps are important. So take care of yourself. That's important.
Persevere. Don't give up.
Reach out
And
for
move
help.
forward.
And if the listening audience, they want to find the coffee truck,
Yeah.
you know, where you headed? Where I had a lot of people recently say, "Well, where are they?" I want to get where are they at?
Yeah, we are still we're still finishing up a couple of the things. So we're doing the safe serve stuff. Jeff is actually going to do that. We're going to be dialing in some more drinks and recipes. Technically, our very first event is at the end of May. However, and a huge shout out to Sean at Red Rock. I was driving Bessie, our truck, around one day, and I stopped there and I just mustered all the courage I could, and I walked in and I started talking to him, and as I was pointing out to the parking lot at my truck, I said, "Hey, I'm starting a new mobile coffee truck. I was just wondering if I could park here at some time," and his immediate answer was yes.
Yeah, Sean's awesome.
And I was just so thrilled. So with that said, I think we'll probably be starting out in May. In Hibbing is more likely. And you can follow us on social medias. We're on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram.
Sure. And I think all of our listening audience, or whoever hears this podcast and hears your story, will want to book you.
I hope they do.
How do they go about if they want to inquire about having you out
Yeah,
there?
they can certainly call us. Our number is on Facebook, but I'll give it to you here. 218-750-9900. They can certainly email us too.
Okay. And Steve will be doing our edit. Can you put that on? Can you put the phone number like right here?
Love it.
Well, Jeff, Denise, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
You know, I think your journey inspired me, and when I told Steve about it too, I was just like, wow, you guys are amazing people, and I hope you nothing but success, and it'll be really good. And I think you guys are gonna be more busy than you know what to do with.
We hope so.
I hope so.
And thank you both very much. We
Absolutely.
appreciate the
Yeah, thank you.
opportunity.
Thanks, guys.